Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to our wrap-up of Trump Tuesdays for the first 100 day of the Trump presidency. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming here. A lot of you have been here through snow, through rain, through wind, and I just want to take this opportunity to say how much I appreciate that, and other folks appreciate that. We've had a real opportunity to see firsthand, to hear from speakers in our community about how public policy impacts them, impacts us and our neighbors. And as a token of your participation in our democracy, we have buttons that we're handing out. So if any of you are interested, make sure you get one of our Trump Tuesday buttons. And we have a couple of speakers lined up to speak to you today. One we are waiting for, but we're told he's taking the bus, so he might be running a little bit late. So first we will hear from Rebecca Fuentes, who is no stranger to a lot of us here. She's been a tremendous advocate for the immigrant population and workers, and I saw her yesterday outside of City Hall in what has become a familiar position for both of us, marching and talking about workers' rights and immigrant rights in particular. So with that, let me welcome Rebecca.
Yes, good afternoon, friends and community. My name is Rebecca Fuentes, and I'm very proud to be here in front of you. I'm an organizer with the Workers Center of Central New York. I see some members and some friends and a board member, Jacqueline, and our friend member Chris, and people from the CNY Solidarity. That's something that we formed right away, right after the elections. We were all very concerned. We were sad. We were horrified for what this country has chosen. And I remember we met on the 9th of November. We met over in Clinton Square in front of the Jerry Rescue Monument. And we cried. There was a lot of sadness and a lot of concern, but there was a sense of community that we were going to survive together. And I remember thinking about all of our friends, all of the people that already have been under so much suffering and so much oppression. The community that we represent at the Workers Center is a community that have been here, that have been pushed from their countries to be here because of economic reasons, because of poverty, because of government, because of injustice and violence. And they are here making a living, proudly working, many of them helping to bring the food, the milk into our tables. And they, like one of our members says very proudly, Crispin Hernandez, he says, we feed the world. It's because of us that you have the fruits and the vegetables and the milk in your tables. And we are very proud to represent them. They are people that work very hard, but through our organization, they are also organizing to make sure that they are seen as human beings and not just as labor, not just as disposable people. I remember listening in 2015 those horrible words that say that all Mexicans are criminals. Me, my heritage is Mexican. My mother worked as a farm worker and a housekeeper and many low-wage jobs in California, and I was born there in 1972. And when I was 3 years old, my mother went back to Mexico. I grew up in Tijuana, Mexico, and I'm Mexican American, but I will never forget my roots. And recently, when we were doing outreach here in Syracuse to bring people to yesterday's rally for immigrants for May 1st, somebody just came to us. I was holding a big sign that said, May 1st strike, a day with our immigrants. And he didn't have any qualms, just to say to me, where are you from? Say, where were you born? And I told him, why are you asking me that? And he said, because you have an accent. And I told him, you do have an accent too. And I can see by your color that you are not from here, so where are you from? and he started to try to give me a lesson on what is to be, on why immigration is a problem and what right of immigration or what is right or wrong with immigration. But I will say that I'm very proud that our city, thanks to the mayor and thanks to all of us, because all of us, we have put that is a priority. It's a sanctuary city. That's very important to us. But it's not enough. We have to make sure that this is a sanctuary for all of us, and that is a legislation. So we're working very hard and with CNY Solidarity, with friends. We also have a rapid response team now. We have, so community can show up when some of our friends are being harassed by immigration, where there are raids. But I also am concerned, and we are concerned, that no city will be a sanctuary as long as our communities of color are under attack, as long as our communities are being criminalized for the manner of, for just minor problems, for being in poverty, for not being able to, perhaps they got a ticket and not being able to pay it, and then they get caught in this criminal system, judicial system, that criminalize you over and over. So sanctuary for immigrants, we are realizing that it's bigger than that. It's beyond sanctuary, it's beyond immigrants, it's for all our communities. So we want to make sure that our police respect our humanity, the humanity of everybody, the humanity of Black lives and brown lives and women and everyone. So Sanctuary City is beyond that, and we are going to be working, continue to work on that. Well, I also want to tell you that Sanctuary will not be, Syracuse will not be a sanctuary until we realize, all of you, that at the transportation center every day, the Border Patrol is detaining people, is harassing people. Why? Because Syracuse is within 100 miles of a border. So the federal government, the Border Patrol, they have the jurisdiction to do that. But remember, in Spanish we say, pueblo manda, gobierno obedece. The people say something and the government will obey. So we will say, no, you cannot be there. We have done it in the past. We will be there marching. We will be there organizing. And I want to thank everyone. So people demand, and the government will obey. So that's what we do. Remember this. El pueblo manda, el gobierno obedece. So we will not allow that to happen anymore. And also in 401 Salina, people are going there to check in with immigration, and they're also being detained, and that is not, we're not going to allow it anymore. So Sanctuary City, we want to expand that, and we want to continue to mobilize for that. And thank you very much, and let's continue to fight.
Thank you, Rebecca. I see Josh has arrived. When we first started this, of the major concerns that we had as Americans was going to be whether our access to health care was going to be taken away for so many Syracusans, for so many Americans. It was and continues to be an important battle that all of us are waging. But because of the work that all of you did and Josh did, we were able to win the first battle. We have not won all of the battles yet. And as a matter of fact, as we stand here today, they are continuing to try to whip votes to take away our health care and take away health care from so many people that we know. But we were successful because of your efforts. I want to commend you for all of that and continue to tell you to stay active and ask Josh to speak about the importance of that.
Thank you. A little tech guy here. Thank you, Mayor. So the very first time that I came out and spoke on Trump Tuesdays, I spoke about how affordable health care is not just a social justice issue, that it's about social responsibility. And as the mayor mentioned, we have made some small strides towards securing our future in affordable health care. And that's paramount to somebody such as myself, who's a single parent and taking care of 2 young boys. Also somebody living with a chronic illness. I've lived with HIV now for 15 years. Some of you have maybe seen my commercial on television for the New York State Department of Health HIV Stops With Me campaign. If you haven't yet, please check out the website. It's a very, very important social media campaign in which we talk about our own experiences in life and how important our healthcare is, and the way that we treat each other in regards to health disparities like HIV, and then also how important it is to secure the funds that ensure that people like myself have access to affordable healthcare. So I applaud once again all of you guys who work so hard and make a point at representing what democracy looks like. This is democracy. I'm what democracy looks like. And so I appreciate all of you guys being here just as much as the mayor, I'm sure, as well as some people who share vastly different views about these issues as we do. And until we can reach a place where we can comfortably talk about these things and share the same spaces on the same issues and topics, can we really begin to make the type of headway that we need in order to secure a more promising future for, our young people, my kids, your grandkids. So, this spans way beyond just healthcare or a moment in time that we're taking out of our days to recognize the types of things that make Syracuse such a promising city. One of the things that I met with the mayor about and that she and I are working on is to further acknowledge and recognize those individuals who work so hard in our community, whether it be police or ambulance teachers, as well as taking out some time to encourage and inspire a young person to step into some of these roles. So stay tuned for some of those details as we continue to work on these things, and I ask that all of you stay encouraged and involved in these processes. The mayoral race that's coming up is extremely important, and I see some candidates out here, and that should really speak to you about the type of leaders that we have here. So I thank the mayor, and I thank the candidates and all of the leadership that comes in all of these beautiful shapes and forms, as well as the woman who spoke earlier in regards to this being a sanctuary city. Syracuse is my home. It's the place that I've continued to come back to after seeking many degrees in life and many experiences in life. This is the place that I've come back to now raise my kids. So, this spans a lot deeper than just this moment in time, and I ask that you all stay encouraged and involved in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have asked our own Joe Driscoll to come up to the mic and speak. At the first Trump Tuesday, he gave me a hard time because he said I needed to learn how to use the mic better and use a bullhorn. So there's nothing like having the young kid tell you how to use the props, but he has a phrase that about all of the things that are important at the revolution. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to somebody I've known since he was very, very young, and who is running for the Syracuse City Council 5th District, but it's been my pleasure to call him a friend as well. Joe Driscoll.
See, I was giving you flack, and then I'm the one who gets the feedback. There we go. But anyway, these Trump Tuesdays have been great, and I didn't prepare anything. Now that I'm running, I feel like improvisation is a little more risky. So I'm starting to get used to what the mayor goes through. But for those don't know, we're looking at Trump's 100 days. I was an organizer for Bernie, and I'd always been, for my years of travel, I've been involved in protest actions and solidarity actions in England and in France, where I lived at the times, and here in Syracuse. And I think, running for elected office was never on the cards for me. But I think kind of realizing, I think maybe now with the 100 Days of Trump, we have to start to see things differently, both as established Democrats and as grassroots movement. That I'm reminded of The Onion had a piece that what does one plastic bottle harm the earth? Ask 42 million Americans. And that's really it. We say, what does my one vote matter? But collectively is what we have to do. So each rally matters, each sit down matters, each conversation matters. And that is, this is what democracy looked like. That's what democracy is. If you want your neighborhood to look a certain way, come together, talk with your neighbors, and elect someone who looks like your neighborhood, who represents your neighborhood, who is the voice of your neighborhood. And if every neighborhood does that, then we're going to be all right. And that's the way it's got to change. I think the Republicans have realized that small local races are important. That city dog catcher is important. That the county races are important. That every race is important. And we have to start seeing it the same way and start realizing that democracy is from the neighborhood and coming together and translating that into action. And there's a lot I disagree with Donald Trump on. I'm hard pressed to find things I agree with him on. I'm ideologically opposed to him on pretty much every issue. His attacks on healthcare, his attacks on immigration, the belief that government should be drowned in a bathtub. I don't agree with any of that. The one thing I do agree with Donald Trump on is that he said he was the great unifier. Not in the way he meant it, but I think he may be right. I think for many years now, we on the other side of the aisle have fought amongst ourselves for too long, and I think now it's important to realize that if we're going to safeguard the progress that's been made in the last 100 years, we're going to have to start having conversations and working together where it makes sense, and we can still disagree with each other on a number of issues. But altogether, those who want to see the things that we fought hard for, the progress we fought hard for, as far as healthcare, as far as Medicaid, as far as environmental protection, the EPA, I mean, that's one of the most important things in this world. I agree with Senator Bernie Sanders when he said, when asked the most important threat to this country was not ISIS, was not Korea, was not Russia, but is climate change. I think if we don't have a planet to live on, we're going to be hard-pressed to solve our other political issues. So with all that stuff, we've got to bring all these things together that are under attack. The environmentalists, lesbian, gay, trans rights, immigrants' rights, people of color. We all have to come together and stand for the nation that we want to see. And it starts at your local neighborhood. That's why I decided to run, was because I realized that, as everyone throws that one plastic bottle into the local river, it does make a difference. That one bottle makes a difference, and all 43,000 of them that are in each river make a difference. So if we all come together and try to make our neighborhoods look right and make our city look right, that'll come up to the state level, and hopefully it can go across the whole country. So yeah, thank you all for coming out. It's about us. It's about us coming together and talking. I applaud the mayor for her efforts here with Trump Tuesday. Let's give it up for Stephanie Miner for initiating this effort. And as she said, this is what democracy looks like. Us all coming together and talking about what's wrong and how we're going to fix it. So let's keep doing that, and let's not let. I think a lot of the strategy has been they hope we'd get fatigued. I hope we get tired of coming out and resisting and getting active, and I hope you're with me in saying that that's not how it's going to go down, that we're going to stay engaged and stay involved and keep coming out and keep supporting each other for every event, that every rally that happens every weekend and every Democratic rally that happens, let's come together and figure this thing out together. Thanks to the mayor for letting me speak. Joe Driscoll, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Joe. So thank you all very much. And this is what happens this is what democracy looks like. You just have people come up and approach you. Good-looking people. Do you have money for me?
Sure.
Are there Koch brother dollars someplace in there?
We just
I'm kidding, everyone.
want to thank you,
Oh, you're very kind. Thank
for
you.
holding these Trump Tuesdays and helping us continue to look forward.
Well, thank you very much. Unnecessary, but that's very, very sweet. Thank you. As Joe said, and as our button said, this is what democracy looks like. The other part of that is that there's a responsibility with democracy, and that means to be active, to speak your opinion, but it also means to listen. And under that category, I want to thank the Trump supporters who have come week in and week out and have been very respectful and have joined us at the mic at times. We're never going to have a strong democracy unless we have the ability to listen to each other. And I'm proud to say that this is one of the communities where we've been able to do that, that we have seen violence happen in other parts of the country and people screaming and yelling at each other. And that may give you an instant sense of gratification, but that's not going to help us solve our problems. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for adding to the dialogue. And I really appreciate that. There is solace in solidarity, and all of you have given me that, so a very personal thank you for that as well. We will continue to meet each other on the hustings. This effort is far from over, and we will continue to see each other both at events like this, both at marches and at public meetings, and importantly at the voting booth as well. So congratulations everybody, thank you very much, and we'll keep moving forward.